welcome back to my channel. We're going to start off with our first Stewmac pedal kit today. We're going to do the tape delay and from Stuart McDonald's, and this is going to be the first in our series of pedal builds. Again, some disclaimers. I pay for everything. This is my own money. I buy the tools, I buy the kits, I buy the guitars, I buy everything. Nobody's sponsoring my channel and nobody's giving me anything. Maybe someday they will, but today they're not. Just some tips on making sure you have the equipment you need. For doing the PC boards on these kits, this PC board holder is really great. It flips over. You don't have to take the board out. It comes in really handy. I bought a couple of these because they were on sale. Then I used my 3D printer to print out organizers that I could put resistors and sorted parts, and also other organizers that I could put, like the knobs and the switches and the jacks and everything until I'm ready to install them in the enclosure. I did buy all of these enclosures, or all of these kits, with white painted enclosures because it's winter time right now and we're having some inclement rainy weather and it's really moist out, and it's gonna be a bad idea to try to paint these. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up here and give you a look at what's inside of the the kits when you get them. Again, they have a whole bunch of different pedal kits. Getting the box to open up is a challenge, but they come with basically all of the associated hardware, knobs, resistors, capacitors, etc. And if there's any circuit boards or anything, they usually hide those inside the enclosure. So when we open up the bottom of the enclosure, you see now the integrated circuit, the sockets, and you see the switch connector board, and you see the PC board that actually gets soldered. And again, this PC board is great for putting right in the Stewmac PC board holder, and you lock it in there, and then you can flip it over both directions. Anyway, another disclaimer, I'm not an electrician by trade. I am a systems admin consultant. I support server systems and printing, etc. So soldering and kit assembly and woodworking and etc. is not my primary function. And as a matter of fact, I'm not a musician either. Although I have many guitars, I love to play. I have banjos, I have violin. I love everything strings, and again, I like to build them as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these parts organized into these sorters and these organizers that I have printed with my 3D printer, and I will come back to you when we're ready to start doing this build. Hey, welcome back. As you see, I turned on my digital microscope here, as well as I have printed out the instructions from Stewmac's website. I also have taken and put all of the components based on the items, etc., inside these sorter trays that I printed with my Anycubic Cobra S1 3D printer. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and jump into the instructions. Always on step one, they say to go ahead and paint your enclosure. Now, once again, the enclosure's white, came white. I'm not going to paint it in this weather because I'll wind up making it just a sticky mess. But the thing that is used that in a future step, when you go to put the board together, you actually use the housing to as a holder for the components while you're soldering on the board. And that's why they say to paint the enclosure first as step one, so it has time to dry. And then after it's dry later on during the process, I think it's like on this one, like step 11 or so, where it actually uses the housing as as part of the hold down. Again, I have this really awesome PC board holder here from Stewmac, and once again, I think it's a pretty cool little item to have. Again, you can take it and you can just basically loosen it up and grab your board and put your board in, and then push it back together. And one of the edges has like a little spring on it, so that way it holds it with some tension. And then while you've got it there, you can then rotate it and to wherever you want to solder. And also you can then use these two little screws here to lock it in place so it doesn't move while you're working. I will be adding the components per the instructions here. I'll start out with step 2, which is install the 3 diodes and the linear voltage regulator, which I believe is just a transistor, but it looks like a transistor, but we'll call it the linear voltage regulator because they do. So as soon as I get ready to put that on, I'll go ahead and get the soldering iron heated up. Again, I have a H-A-K-K-O Hakko or Hakko soldering iron, and this thing is a really good soldering iron. Heats up, does the soldering real well. I can't say I solder real well because, again, it's not what my job is, but this makes it at least easier for me to get the components onto the board. Okay, I will bring you back in just a minute when I'm ready to go ahead and start putting some of these components on. Okay, now to install these diodes have a little stripe on them. You see this one has a stripe, a black stripe on the edge. You need to make sure you match the stripe with the circuit board when you put the diodes in. You'll notice one goes one direction and one goes the other direction. The stripe's on the opposite side. So I'm going to go ahead and put the stripe in here. Like so. And just push around down there. And then what I'm going to do, so that I can solder it in good, is normally I would just pull the pins apart a bit so it stays in. But I've been having a little bit of problems with my solder joint. So what I'm going to do is while I'm soldering it, I'm actually going to grab a hold of it with the mechanical fingers here on my solder station. And I'm going to grab a hold of the resistor with that so that the component, the diode with that so that it holds it flush on the board while I'm soldering it. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get these components on there. I'll solder them down. Basically, once again, I will just put my soldering tip on here and my soldering iron on here, and I will go ahead and add the solder to it. Basically by just heating up the wire in the component, add the solder to it, and I'll solder the joint on. Okay, I'll come back to you as soon as I get these 4 components on the board. Hey, welcome back. I've completed step 2, the diodes, and I've also now completed step 3. Step 3 was to install the 23 resistors. Again, if you have to bend the resistors to fit on the board, it's always cool to bend them all consistently in the same direction so that your board looks a lot more clean when you're done with it. And I'll show a picture of that. But now I have to move on to step number 4, which will be installing the capacitors. We got to install 10 capacitors and then an additional 16 capacitors in step 5. So I'll get those put on the board and bring you back once it's done, and I'll show you what it looks like. Again, I'm using my mechanical fingers here to hold the components as I'm soldering them, and I'll put a picture right here of that. And it comes in real handy to keep the components pretty tight on the board. Okay, I'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, well, I finished steps 4 and 5. I've got all the capacitors and all the components on the board now. As you can see on the board, it's looking like a little twisted mini city. A couple of those capacitors are very tight squeezed between the electrolytical capacitors, the ones that are polarized and the ones that aren't. And oh my God, there's a really tight squeeze one right here, as you can see on the moving screen. It is stuffed right there, that orange capacitor. And it's like I said, it's a real tight squeeze in there. It's in there, but it's a tight squeeze. So the next thing to do will be to install the chip sockets, and then the two chips. It's actually got 3 sockets, and 1 chip spans 2 8-pin sockets. So I'll get those chips on in step number 6, and I'll also install the wires in step number 7. Get it ready to go ahead and put on the chassis, or on the housing. What I'm also going to do is install the breakout board, which is in steps 8 and 9. So the switch will be ready to go, and then we'll work on the pots. Okay. I'll get back to you as soon as I get the last of those components put in, and we can maybe get this thing in the housing today and actually make a pedal. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you in a few. So one thing I would recommend is that you get a good pair of strippers when you're doing these wires. It makes it easy. They're already labeled with the gauge on the cutter. This is a 22 gauge wire, and there's a 22 gauge slot here for stripping off the ends. After you cut the wires to length, you have to then strip off about 30 seconds or so of wire off the end, so that you can then solder it onto the board. And again, these are very small wires you're dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all cut. They're all cut, rather, and get them all stripped and get them ready to solder onto the board. And then I'll solder them on the board, and I'll come back and let you know what it looks like when it's done. As you can see in the instructions, the wires have to come up through the bottom of the board, and it's really difficult to put the wire in and have it not fall out while you're trying to solder it in. So for that reason, once again, these mechanical fingers that in this case came with the digital microscope, or you could have it on a soldering station. I have some soldering stations around that have these on them as well. But with this way, I can just go ahead and put the wire in from the bottom and push down, and it will hold it right in the hole for me, which will allow me then to go ahead and be able to solder it. Again, just wanted to tell you that there's a lot of tools that make the jobs a lot easier to do. God didn't give us 3 hands, so it's nice to have that extra hand. And here is our board up to step number 7 complete. And I'll take a better picture of that. And it's good advertisement for Stuart McDonald with their nice Stewmac logo right there, or Stewmac name right there on the PCB board holder, the PC board holder. Alrighty. As per the instructions, there's a little tab, an alignment tab, you have to break off of the pots, and then take one of these little squares of foam and put on the back of each of the pots so it doesn't short out against the board when it's in the enclosure. Okay, those 4 done. I'll be soldering those onto the board, and these are the last components that actually go on the board until we put it in the case. Okay, and one more thing, and I don't think you're going to be able to really see it, but on the top of the pots, where the knob side is, it actually tells what the ohms on them are. Like this one here says B5K, this one's B25K, and as you can see in the instructions, and I'll also put that up on the screen, each one of these pots is in a specific place, so you got to make sure you get them in the right order and the right place when you're soldering them down. Okay, I'm going to get to doing that right now. Hey, so now it's time to take the circuit board with the pots installed and the switch installed, and then also with the LED installed, and go ahead and put it into the housing and screw it down. And I'll get to that, and I'll be back with you once we have this thing assembled. Okay, so we have the circuit board and the switches and the knobs and the LED all installed. They are now in the enclosure, and I did want to say that this power connector is what comes next. And I can tell you right now, I hate these power connectors. They're plastic and the knob is metal. And so every time you try to tighten it, all it does is just slip and strip. So be careful with it. Once you put it in, hopefully it just stays where it's at. Again, it's almost impossible to tighten and loosen this thing because of the plasticness. Okay, well, I'm going to get it mounted and the jacks mounted, and we'll wire them up. And we'll just about be ready to test this pedal out. Thanks. Well, it looks like we're all done with this. The only thing left now is testing it to see if it works. I have put the enclosure together. And again, this little power connector is horrible. So after you get it soldered in and you get it put on, it's going to keep coming loose and coming loose. I put a drop of super glue underneath here, put it down, and it stays where it is. And that's what you should do as well, especially on this stupid little plastic power connector. Again, that's my only complaint. We're going to go ahead and give it a shot and see how it works. And I'm going to use my new Epiphone Les Paul Custom, and it's got Dr. Neon red strings on it. And so I'll run it through my Spark 40 amp and we'll see how it does. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, I set out a little bit of my Spark 40 here, my Epiphone Custom Pro, and I'm just gonna now test out the knobs here and see what they do. And now the number of repeats can be long, like or short, and bring up the time. Bring the time down. It's almost none. So we'll put the mix all the way up and we'll bring the time up, and that's delay. And it looks like we had some success. Sounds good. Okay, that's our first successful pedal, the tape up delay. And we'll go ahead and wind up this video. Again, each time I build one of these pedals, I will use one of my different guitars. Again, this was my relatively new Les Paul Pro Custom Pro Epiphone. And again, it's got Dr. Neon strings on it just because I like the looks of it. And again, if it's on my channel, it better shine and it better be pretty because I'm not into relics. Alrighty, I'll see you guys on the next pedal.